Ladies and gentlemen, pause what you're doing immediately. This is the state of Britain today, and we've received a bombshell that's just detonated across the Atlantic. Breaking news. Donald Trump has released confidential documents concerning Starmer, and the UK government is crumbling before our very eyes. You won't believe what Trump's revealed. Corruption, treachery, and wholesale sabotage of America's confidence. Is this the finish for Starmer? Could this trigger Reform UK's complete ascendancy? The establishment is in disarray. The public is awakening, and Britain's on the verge of transformation forever. Stay with us as we're delving deep into this betrayal that's rocking Westminster. Hit that like button if you're frustrated with Labour's deceptions, and subscribe for more uncensored truth you won't find from the BBC. Right, patriots. Brace yourselves because we're plunging straight into the core of this earth-shattering saga. It's finally erupted. Donald Trump, back in the White House with determination, went public and utterly dismantled Keir Starmer before the entire world. No restraint here, folks. Trump called out our duplicitous prime minister by name, hitting him with accusations of deep-seated corruption, outright dishonesty, and a betrayal so enormous it strikes directly at the foundation of America's confidence in Britain. This wasn't some spontaneous outburst. Trump brandished what he described as classified documents, hard-hitting evidence, not the mainstream media's fabricated rubbish, exposing Starmer's shadowy behind-closed-doors dealings with senior EU elites and, shockingly, officials from Beijing. These weren't harmless conversations. They were deliberate schemes to undermine Trump's forthcoming trade policies before he'd even returned to the Oval Office. Trump's presentation was absolutely explosive. Starmer thought he could play both sides. Well, now everyone sees the reality. Boom! Instantly, the world ignited. Media organizations from foggy London to bustling Washington exploded into chaos. Over at Downing Street, it's complete pandemonium. Senior advisors rushing in and out of number 10 like frightened rodents, their faces drained of color, shouting into phones constantly. This extends far beyond a simple political misstep. It's a full-scale international disaster that's tearing the so-called special relationship between our nations to shreds. Here's the revelation. Whispers from credible insiders disclose that Trump's team had been orchestrating this takedown for weeks. They've compiled a vast collection of incriminating evidence, leaked correspondence, questionable financial connections, and confidential diplomatic records, all indicating Starmer's administration secretly collaborating with EU bureaucrats to sabotage U.S. trade reforms. Trump branded it outright economic warfare against America. And if he proceeds with those threatened sanctions and sky-high tariffs, prepare yourselves, Britain. Our economy could collapse overnight. The pound's already plummeting to depths unseen in years. Inflation's spiraling out of control. And our hardworking exporters in crucial sectors like manufacturing, automobiles, and aircraft are positioned to absorb the devastating initial blows. This, my friends, is the bitter harvest of betraying your closest allies. Starmer's devious globalist strategies are backfiring spectacularly. And who's celebrating? None other than Nigel Farage and the unstoppable Reform UK. Farage has been warning about this elite treachery for what seems like ages. Recall Brexit. We the people demanded to reclaim our sovereignty, yet Starmer's been selling it off to Brussels and foreign powers as if it's worthless. This explosive leak confirms it. Labour isn't fighting for Britain. They're marionettes for the international establishment. Every time a scandal like this emerges, Reform UK surges in the polls because they're the genuine champions of the ordinary Brit. Latest figures. Reform's polling at an impressive 25% nationwide, a massive jump from their 14% in the previous election. That's not merely statistics. That's millions of awakened citizens ready to reclaim control. Now, let's examine Labour's feeble response, or total meltdown. Confronting this devastating revelation, Starmer's administration is imploding catastrophically. Marketed as unshakable stability, it's now a pit of panic and chaos. Number 10's fortified like a military zone, not from external threats, but Trump's relentless assault. Starmer, once the confident diplomat, appears utterly overwhelmed, his inner circle buzzing about resignation timelines, hasty cabinet reshuffles, and frantic damage control that reeks of desperation. Foreign office lines are jammed with anxious envoys seeking clarifications that aren't forthcoming. Washington's frozen them out. Brussels hedges cautiously. Beijing observes with calculating satisfaction. Britain's diplomatic influence evaporating, stranding Starmer in isolated humiliation. The press, a voracious beast, screaming headlines, Starmer's treasonous turn, and files that failed a PM. Pundits who dismiss Trump now wrestle with this geopolitical earthquake. Starmer's boasted strong ties, ridiculed as Westminster's biggest fabrication. Loyalists abandoning ship. Ministers plotting for power seizures. Parliament's corridors humming when, not if, he falls. Trump escalates via his Truth Social platform. Starmer traded Britain's independence to globalists. Abandoning U.S. loyalty for EU applause. Amassing millions of shares instantly. U.S. coverage, Fox labels it British backstab. Centrists call it Alliance Armageddon. White House silence on evidence feels ominous. Economy-wise carnage. Markets plunged at opening. Pound in freefall to historic lows. Investors fleeing UK holdings amid trade war anxiety. Firms bracing for redundancies. CBI pleading for negotiations, futile. Trump's severed Downing Street connections. Not a freeze, but banishment. Allies like Australia and Canada poaching our agreements. Britain's isolated. Labour internally, revolt brewing. Leaks flooding media as members disown the catastrophe. Ignored Trump warnings. Underestimated consequences. Insider. Thought he was finished. Now he's annihilating us. Divisions deepening. Conservatives demanding no confidence vote. Farage Broadcasting. Seize control from Starmer's establishment. Resonates with betrayed voters. Labour's transgressions. Brexit sellout. Immigration deluge. Grooming gang cover-ups. Net zero madness spotlighted. Reeves's 15B deficit. Lammy's blunders. Damning leak obliterates them. Reform ascendant. Tough on borders. Sensible energy. Proud identity. Polls. 70% blame Starmer for international damage. Up. Warriors of truth. The genuine power lies with the people, and right now their voice is thunderous. Social media didn't merely buzz after Trump's explosive leak. It exploded like a powder keg. Within minutes, platforms were ablaze. Hashtags such as Doriter Starmer exposed and Boris Trump files rocketed to global trending status, accumulating tens of millions of views instantly. Elon Musk, that maverick genius, entered the fray with a striking post. Britain deserves the unvarnished truth, pledging to release even more incriminating evidence through his ex-empire. For Starmer, this isn't a nightmare, it's an endless repeating horror with no escape route. The average Brit seething with justified fury. Clips of Trump's scorching remarks are viral sensations, spreading like wildfire across every platform, igniting comment sections into absolute chaos. Demands for Starmer's resignation are everywhere. "We've been sold out by our own PM, traitor," one furious user declares. Another adds, "Reform UK is our sole hope to reclaim the nation." Overnight polls paint a bleak picture for Labour. A staggering 60% of voters now convinced Starmer's mismanagement has torpedoed Britain's global standing into the abyss. These aren't just figures, they're the heartbeat of a nation fed up with Labour's disconnected elitism, rallying in masses to reform UK's cause. Nigel Farage, the people's champion, stormed live television with a rallying cry, "This is Britain's ultimate wake-up call against the betrayers." His message resonates like thunder, especially on the pressing issues tearing at our national fabric, uncontrolled immigration and the erosion of British identity. Consider the grooming gang scandal. Labour's buried it for years, shielding the perpetrators whilst ignoring victims. Reform demands complete accountability, no compromises, prioritizing British justice. And don't overlook the worldwide conservative momentum fueling this inferno. Trump's influence looms large, inspiring a transatlantic uprising. Even J.D. Vance contributes. True allies like Britain must fortify themselves against the globalist current. This leak is pure accelerant for the eternal battle, the hard-working masses versus the condescending establishment. Forget the BBC's sanitized narrative. They're too enmeshed in Starmer's network to report the raw facts. But here, we strip away the facade without apology, delivering the unfiltered revelation you demand. Keep your eyes wide open, folks. We're confronting what's approaching, and it's a seismic reckoning that could redefine Britain permanently. For Labour, it's nothing short of apocalypse. If that slippery character Starmer digs in and refuses to step aside, Trump's rage will erupt like a volcano, halting vital trade negotiations, withdrawing those precious special arrangements that protect our exports. Imagine this. Everyday hardworking Brits hammered with soaring prices in shops, waves of devastating job losses tearing through communities, and a cloud of economic uncertainty suffocating the nation like never before. Even if Starmer finally capitulates and resigns in disgrace, the damage is permanent. Our relationship with the U.S. poisoned beyond swift repair, the economy teetering on the brink of collapse. No simple solution to retrieve it. The EU retreating like cowards, too frightened to confront Trump's wrath. The Commonwealth offering nothing but uncomfortable silence, leaving Britain isolated. Our once proud global standing pulverized to dust. But wait. From these ruins, a phoenix emerges. Reform UK positioned to claim their rightful place. This isn't merely a temporary surge. It's the golden dawn for Nigel Farage and his unstoppable movement. Their bold, straightforward populist platform, laser-focused on Brexit's genuine promise, halting rampant immigration, and abandoning the absurd net-zero policies that drain our energy bills, positions them as the true saviors of the realm. Let's consider the possibilities because the evidence is clear. In the next snap election, Reform surges to an astonishing 40% of the vote, sweeping in with uncompromising pledges like zero tolerance for the horrors of grooming gangs, ditching green extremism to deliver affordable energy for everyone, and reclaiming our fierce British identity from globalist control. Trump's bombshell revelation. It's the hammer that demolishes Labour's fragile empire, enabling Reform to spearhead the charge. The establishment stranglehold slipping away as the people's raw power surges forward, unstoppable and resolute. This scandal transcends politics alone. It's a monumental shift in the global power equation where Britain's delusional pretensions crash directly into Trump's unfiltered, unforgiving reality. The establishment's house of cards is collapsing, and the voice of the masses is finally roaring through. Stay engaged, patriots. The revolution is just beginning. In summary, Trump's leaked documents have exposed Starmer's betrayal, demolishing Labour and propelling Reform UK forward. The UK government's collapsing, and it's time for genuine change. Reclaiming control, British pride first. This could finish Labour permanently. If you agree, smash that like button. Subscribe for more exposés and comment, is Reform UK Britain's future? Please click super thanks to support the channel.